and welcome to my channel. I am Stephanie. These are the best, or my best books of 2020. So even though 2020 was a shit year for most of us, I actually read a lot of books that could make this list. So what I did was I narrowed it down to 20. Do you know how hard it was to narrow down all the books that I read? Because, you know, I read a lot of books last year, and it was very, very difficult to make this list. Ooh, it was so difficult. Oh, so difficult. But I narrowed it down to 20. I do have 2 honorable mentions that it just would not be a list, a best list, my best books list without having these 2 books or series. Because, yeah, let me tell you that this list that I'm about to tell you guys about is built and made up of series and of standalones and a mishmash of books that I just could not get off of my mind. Now, I will say that for some of the series books, there may be 1 or 2 books within the series that didn't mesh with me, and that is just fine. But the reason they make the list is because the majority of the books, or all of the books, lit my fire and I can't stop thinking about them. So here are the honorable mentions. I won't go too far into them because I got 20 books to go through. I'm gonna try and keep this semi-short. I don't know. I might get a little excited though. But honorable mention number 1 is Take a Hint, Dani Brown by Talia Hibbert. This is one of the Brown sisters, and I really enjoyed this story. It's about a bisexual, gender fluid female character, and then we have a sort of introverted male character that is just so ushy and gushy and so good. And I just really, really liked the whole fake dating aspect, the rescue, and the viral ness that ends up happening between the couple. And yeah, really, really enjoyed it. But it didn't make the top 20, unfortunately, but it's definitely an honorable mention. And the next is a series, and that is the Arrowwood series by Corinne Michaels, and it includes all of these books right here. I wanted to put it into the top 20, but there were some other books that ended up beating them out. So let's get to those books and hope that I am not super, super long-winded and make this video super, super long. So for the most part, numbers 6 through 20 are not necessarily in any particular order, in ranking, what have you, but the top 5 books or series that I have on this list are ones that blew my mind for the year, and I will continue to rave about. So let's start at number 20. Coming in at number 20 is The Office Party by Whitney G. This was a fun, amazing, sweet little novella that I read over the Christmas time, and it was just perfect for what I needed it to be. Number 19 is Little Lies by Helena Hunting. It gave me a new adult angstness, and I really, really enjoyed it. It showed both sides of anxiety and PTSD and how 2 characters handle things differently, even when they're going through something very, very similar. I really, really, really enjoyed this story. It put me through all my feels and everything like that. Number 18 is the Salvation Society collection. This is a collection of standalone books written in the world of the Salvation Society or Salvation series by Corinne Michaels, and the books 15 of them came out in the Society this year, or in 2020, and for the most part, I really enjoyed every single last one of them, all 15 of them. There was maybe one or two that didn't rub me the right way, but for the most part, I am so excited that these authors were allowed to write in Corinne's world, and they really, really held true to the baseline people and feelings of the Salvation series, and I really enjoyed that. Coming in at number 17, we have The Romantic Pact by Meghan Quinn. This, in my opinion, if you didn't read The Mother Road by Meghan Quinn, this may fall a little flat to you, but I have read The Mother Road by Meghan Quinn, and it just took me back to that funny road trip, except for we're having a road trip in Germany, and it's about one of the kids that comes from the production of, or families of the Mother Road, or the couple from the Mother Road. This is their kid in The Romantic Pact, and I loved all of it. The sassiness, the funness, the angst that went along with it, and it's a sports romance, and it's a second chance love story, and it's a childhood crush thing going on, and there's just so much goodness in this book. Coming in at number 16 is Love in the Wild by Emma Castle, and this is a retelling with modern pops of the Tarzan story that we know, and I really enjoyed it. I loved how it brought in the sort of modern day, injustices that are going on in Africa, and in the rainforests of Africa, and the safari of Africa, and things like that, and just it added this mystical sort of feel to it, and I was here for it. And then the covers are absolutely just beautiful, beautiful cover for this one. Coming in at number 15, we have a duet, and this duet was so steamy, and so hot, and just everything I needed at that moment, and that is Dirty Little Lies Duet by J.D. Hollyfield, and that is Bad Daddy and Sweet Little Lies is the second book, and oh my god. It was just perfect. It was everything that I wanted right then, and it was super hot and steamy. There are some trigger warnings, or not trigger, content warnings. If you're not into sort of the daddy kink or age gap, forbidden love story type thing, you might want to shy away from it, but if that is for you, you need to check this one out. Coming in at number 14 is the entire Sinister Fairy Tales collection, and these are twisted, forbidden, dark romance takes on famous fairy tales, and I was here for it. Here for it. Now, the only reason this collection is on this list, and it is eligible to be on this list, is because I read the majority of the Sinister Fairy Tale collection in 2020. There were a couple that I read in 2019, but for the most part, all of them were read in 2020, and I loved most of them. Coming in at number 13, we have The Lion and the Mouse series by Kenya Wright. Oh my goodness. You guys, let me just tell you that if you are looking for a mafia romance that's epic, woo, this is the series you need to go read. Because after I watched 365 D&I on Netflix and was completely obsessed with that, someone suggested this series, and I have been obsessed with this author ever since I started this series. And I'm just like, oh, yes, so many S's. Coming in at number 12 is House of Dragons by K.A. Linde. For one, this is a beautiful cover. beautiful cover, and having the physical copy of it is even better because it's so pretty. But this is a YA fantasy, you guys, and y'all know that I don't do YA, and I surely don't do fantasy, but this definitely had me on the edge of my seat, and I credit all that to K.A. Linde, because she seems to be able to get me out of my comfort zone, reading genres that I don't normally read, and enjoying them. Next, we have number 11, which is Blindsided by Amy Daws. And in this story, this is the man. In this story, we have the main male character and the female character. She's fun and she's quirky and everything like that. But this main male character, Mac, he unseated the Harris Brothers series. Like, he unseated Gareth. I love me some Gareth Harris. But Mac unseated him because this book was so amazing. Was so amazing, and I loved it oh so much. Listen to it as an audiobook, and you guys, let me just tell you, I didn't think Will was able to do like a different accent, because Will does the narrations for the Harris Brothers, and they're all English, and Mac is Scottish, and it was so good. Oh my God, it was so good. Yeah. It just made me want to jump on a plane and like go to Scotland, because yeah. Yes. Thank you. Coming in at number 10 is the Blood Alliance series by Lexi C. Foss. You guys. Oh my God. So Lexi lit my fire back into the paranormal romance world. And this series right here, there's some twisted things going on where humans are not on the top of the food chain and werewolves and vampires are, but there's craziness going on as well. There's a little bit of a Hunger Games feel to it because humans have to compete. And these vampires and these werewolves are super fire. So fire. And then there's a mystery that's along with it, and I was so here for it. So here for it. As number 9, we have Drowning in Stars by Deborah Anastasia. And this book ripped my heart out. This is a full-fledged YA standalone novel, and it's going to rip your heart out. It takes place in New York with these two kids, and they live across the alley from each other, and they can see each other's room, and then they like correspond, and then you see them grow up a little bit, and then something ends up happening that's super tragic, and one of the characters has to figure out if they tell or if they keep the secret, which is going to be better, and if the things that they did were the best moves for them. And it was just so just so just so much heart, oh my gosh. Number 8 is The Worst Best Man by Mia Sosa, and I loved this book because it was rom-com. It was lady getting left at the altar and then having to work with the brother that dumped you from being left at the altar, and and it is set in an area that I could physically visualize and know and things like that, because it's set in the DMV or DC, Maryland, Virginia area, and the places that were talked about and things like that were like, oh yeah, that's right over the bridge, or that's right over here, and I was able to visualize all that was going on, and yes, it was so good, so very, very good. Coming in at number 7 is the 2 books that I was able to read in 2020 for the Dangerous Web series by Aleatha Romig. Now, you guys won't be able to read the second book, Dusk. Wow, I almost forgot the name of it. No. I read Dark and I read Dusk in 2020. Dark, you're able to go read. Dusk comes out either just before I release this video or shortly after I release this video. But, yeah, you guys. Oh, Dangerous Webs is like the culmination of the Sparrow Webs outfit, and oh, it put me through my ringer, and it's heartbreaking, and it's the couple that I wanted to know the most about, and it's killing me. It just, whew, so much. Coming in at number 6 is Web of Desire series by Aleatha Romig, and this is the series or trilogy that comes before the Dangerous Web series, right? And the couple in this one definitely had me on the edge. They were my favorite until I was like completely introduced to the last couple. But there's a scene in book 2 of Web of Desire that took my breath away. And completely placed Aleatha securely on the pedestal of being my favorite author, like, ever. Like, oh. Yes. So much. Alrighty, so here we go. Here are the top 5 books. Okay, you guys. It was so hard. So, technically, I don't know that I can say, like, book number 1 is my all-time favorite, but it's most definitely a book that I raved about after I read it and will continue to rave about and things like that. But these 5 books and series are books that did something to me in the year 2020. So, coming in at number 5 is Queen Move by no other than Kennedy Ryan. She is my realistic queen of contemporary romance, and I love her oh so much. Through this book, she allowed me to see what my son's future could be, and thank you. Yes. And this is what I think I've heard either Kennedy say it or someone else say it, but this is like grown folks romance. Because it's a childhood love story that starts when they are in school. They live across the street from each other. Life happens. Few times they float back into each other's lives, then they float back out, and this is them floating back in and finding out things that happened in their families and connections and coming back together. But, you know, there's other outside things that are going on as well. It was just so good, you guys. So good. Coming in at number 4 is the entire Flight and Glory series by Rebecca Yarros. This series was actually released in 2014, I believe. There was a book, the 5th book in this series was released in 2020. But I read the entire series in a week and a half, and I vlogged it, and I was emotionally spent for it. This nailed Rebecca Yarros on the top pedestal for realistic military romances, and she will forever be my go-to person. There are some other military romance writers, or they have that piece in their pocket, but Rebecca put me through it. Like I was in my emotions the entire week and a half through all 5 books in this series, and I would not change a single minute of it. Just thinking about it gets me all just so many things that I could just completely relate with, and she got it right, and it was just beautiful and heartbreaking and just everything. Coming in at number 3 is Baird Souls by Ellie Wade. This is this is an emotional read. And I wouldn't even say that this is a romance. There are things that are romantic about it. And there are ways that you could argue that it could be considered a romance. I don't know that I would put it as a romance. I definitely say it's a love story, and it's an emotional one, and it is a story that needs to be told, and more people need to talk about it, and more people need to hear it. And this is a book that just means that you are not alone in this world, that someone else could and possibly did go through trials and traumas and things from life, and just, it's another one that just, yeah. Okay, so number 2. Number 2 is Hearts on Hold by Charish Reid, and this story allowed me to see that academia is hard as hell. It's hard as hell. And I now compare this book with pretty much, this is the standard of, if you're writing an academia book, this is I'm gonna need you to get to this level, because the way Charish wrote about this black woman in academia rocked my world. Like, I was like, oh, that's how it is? Okay. That whole gotta work 10 times harder, always be on your P's and Q's, was so just woven so beautifully into the story, along with being able to navigate other things that were going on within it. And I was just like, ugh, my mind was blown. It was like I was getting told a story, because I listened to it as an audiobook, and the audiobook narrator was absolutely amazing. And I just really, really loved the experience of this book, the storyline of this book, the characters in this book. It was just tops for me. I was here for it. I was here for it. And the number 1 book of 2020 was Like Lovers Do by Tracey Livesay. Once again, this is a story that happens here in the DC, Maryland, Virginia area. I was able to feel and be in those emotions and places and things like that, as well as seeing a super strong, amazing woman in a, have goals of a feel and things that she wants to do in a male-dominated field of work. And I was here for that. I loved the book so much. I felt for the way that, Tracey told this story. I loved that this is an interracial relationship, and I loved that in this book, Tracey did not shy away from our white characters being wrong, and in turn, they didn't, expect the black character to explain it to them. She allowed the white character to go out and research and find out for themselves what was wrong with the microaggressions that they ended up saying and doing, and the stereotypes that they used. And it was just it was like the perfect coming together for me, and I really, really enjoyed it. And I loved the dialogue of it. It wasn't overly complicated, so that, it was like beating you over the head. These are the things that are going on, that it was real life, that things like this happen. And I was just, I loved it. Oh, so much. Oh, so much. So, this is my best of 2020 list. I hope that you will take a chance and go check out some of those books. Let me know down in the comment section if you've read some of those books, what your feelings were on them. Are you gonna go check some of them out? I know I didn't give standard like descriptions of them, just my feelings on them because I love them. Yeah, go check out these books because they're absolutely amazing. At least they're amazing in my eyes, and I want more people to read them and experience them and discuss them with me. As always, if you enjoyed this video, please give me a big thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. Also, there is a feedback form down in the description box so you guys can help me improve my channel. There's also all of my links down there. My Ko-fi's down there, my PayPal's down there. My link for my Patreon, which is which hosts the weekly wrap-up video now exclusively, and lots of other great content over there. My Amazon wish list is down there. Amazon affiliate links are down there. I'm working on the storefront to make sure that you guys are, you know, if you click on it, you know, I could use your help. Use your help. Yes, most definitely. I have some other links down there as well in the description box, so check those out. In other words, check the description box out. I will list all of the books down there. I might mix them up, so, you know, if you're looking in the description box, you may have to look around to find the right name for the right title type thing, just because I don't want you to just look in the description box to find out the information, if that makes any sense. And now I'm rambling. But make sure that you like and subscribe, and all the engagement and content or comments down there are greatly appreciated. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope you have a great 2021.